Making your way through work Monday takes everything you got. Then Monday night rolls around and you realize there's a shot. You're only 10 points away. All those times when your team had no fight, they're just so gosh darn frail. Then your star quarterback let another deep ball sail, and your third round pick bet on his team. Then go check out our streets where everybody knows your game, and they listen to complaints. You wanna be where you can see our bodies bring you no shame. You wanna go where everybody knows your pain.
Welcome back. I'm here with boys. Wait. I may say this all the time. I'm here with Cody and Rob. Is this the first of the year?
No.
I don't think first of the year, but I think first of I don't know that we did it in June though. It's been a while. Maybe not in June.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've had plenty with both of you, but not together.
It's been actually. I feel like it's been you and Norton a ton, me and you a ton, and then I'm usually with what Cody would call the sister sport. You know, Cody and Alex.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I like it. Used perfectly.
Thank you. Yeah. So the best part about I know the producers, they want to skip questions. We have a jam-packed episode to get divisional and everything.
Yeah, we got a room of producers in the back, everybody.
They're already in my ear. I hear them.
Yeah. But I get your guys' verbiage down so much by watching all of these rewatches and clipping all the time, and I know who you love. Like, dude, next thing you know, I'm just gonna be like next to you when you wake up, like, hello, coffee today, sir?
Hey, Mudcat.
Yeah.
Hey,
did you how do you feel about Josh Jacobs?
Daryl Henderson got signed. He didn't actually. That's what you do.
Is he not signed?
He's not, which still blows my mind.
He's like 6 on the waiting list now, dude. If there's a waiting list, he's like 6 on it.
It's wild.
He'll get a spot, but
25 and above league average career yards per carry. I don't know why he should be employed.
He's probably like 5 or 6 on the pecking order here.
Yeah, you got to think Lenny and Zeke are above him for sure. Obviously,
Lenny,
Dalvin.
Zeke, Cook. Yeah.
Lenny, Zeke, Cook.
J.D. McKissick.
I don't know about that. I feel like he is J.D. McKissick.
But I feel like a team would pick McKissick. I wouldn't, but I feel like a team would.
Yeah, I could see it.
Kareem
Hunt. I mean, I would probably rather have Kareem Hunt.
Would you?
I don't think Daryl Henderson is fast in general. Yeah, but
I don't think he's fast. But they're probably the same player at this point. Yeah.
Even that's a stretch, but I'll let you have it for now because I don't want to do that debate. And again, the producers are going to
scratch the whole thing. Let's talk.
They're already in my ear, dude. They're saying move on. And Robbie, I meant to tell you, dude, I promise this will be the end of our intro. Jess and I got into college transcripts, and I really did actually want to tell you this off air. But my God, looking at how close I didn't make it to getting out of undergrad is insane because it was bad.
I don't think I do
first 2 years. I don't know about you, Robbie. I'm speaking for myself alone. First 2 years were rough for me.
Freshman year was rough for me,
and I just revisited the whole thing. And the third year, it was like rough, and it was half rough because I started off bad, and then I was like, I got to get my life together.
Yeah, freshman year was tough. I started pre-med at Ohio State, so I got absolutely hammered by the chems and all that sort of stuff. Even though I went in thinking I was pretty good at that stuff, and it turns out that I was not.
Dude.
But it was
you guys
fun.
had very different career aspirations than I did. My freshman year, I took bowling and exploring music, Bach to Rock.
Wait, you said your freshman year was hard.
Well, I didn't do well. Not there is the problem. Not there.
You didn't show up to bowling.
Tell you what, Japanese culture through film. Those those movies were bad. I'm sitting here thinking I'm going to watch movies, but I could not bring myself to watch a movie on Japanese culture at 8:40 in the morning. Just couldn't get there.
Really?
Yeah, that's
I was, and I'm gonna sound like an idiot, but I was thinking like martial arts movies sort of thing.
No, it was definitely more like anime type of stuff.
Oh.
At 8:40
I
in the
took
morning.
yeah, we'll get moving after this, but yeah, I took a lot of weird classes too. Like I did soccer, I did, like a bunch of workout classes.
Just to be clear, I got an A in bowling.
And then how about this? My senior year, I needed to fill one
What's up, Howard?
one elective class just to graduate. And I was going through the stuff. I'm like, oh, this looks cool. So I signed up for black holes, thinking it was like all about theory. Like, oh, this is what, like I was like, hell yeah, this sounds awesome.
You got into like,
dude, it was literally like the hardest math class I've ever taken in my life. What are the formulas to a black hole and how do they operate? It was I was so pissed off when I like after the first day of class, I'm looking back in my notes and stuff. I'm like, this is the dumbest. It was between that and beekeeping. I was like, I should have just done beekeeping.
Voice. Yeah.
That's so wild.
Yeah, it was just like they're just like fill one class. You could put whatever you want in there. I was like, oh, black hole sounds cool. Nope. Don't do it.
I never had the wiggle room because I messed up. So I actually came into college with 27 credit hours, and I still in my senior year had 18 and 19 in both those semesters.
Is it because you changed your major a lot?
3 times? Yeah, 3 times.
That would count as a lot, I think.
I did too. I
think so
changed
too.
a lot. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's why it's such a cakewalk. I just stayed the course. That's
you
probably
knew what
what
you
made my
wanted,
life
Cody.
easy.
Yeah.
I mean,
You knew what
if
you
I could go back.
Me too, dude. Me too.
All right. So now that I have sufficiently killed 7 minutes of the necessary time that we had, actually, this says the producer said start by 15. We're doing good. Let's talk.
I'm the producer. I didn't realize that's what the.
Yeah. That's my notes. I mean, no, it's a little baby talking in my ear. We're talking NFC North. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Getting into the divisional action.
Let's get divisional. All right. So, boys, we need to talk. We're going to talk Green Bay first. All right. And what I want to start off is obviously the most pressing thing and the most that people, I would say, the more drafted, honestly. Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon, what to make of them? And I could kick off with you, Cody.
Yeah, I mean, I think you guys probably kind of know my stance here, and I would say I'm not as hot on it as I have been, but I've been an Aaron Jones guy for a long time now.
Forever.
Forever. I feel like I was on Aaron Jones when Aaron Jones wasn't cool, but Aaron Jones has never gotten cool.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's been a guy that, every year he gets drafted below where he finishes. That's just how it goes in fantasy football. And I think it's probably
the opposite of Amari Cooper, except for last year.
Yeah, you're right. You're exactly right. I think it's just another year of that. I mean, I think they both are going to have fantasy value, but at the end of the day, I think this team wants to run, and Aaron Jones is a career north of 5 yards a carry, and I just don't see a world where he doesn't put up again.
Robbie, you feel the same?
Yeah. No, I'm with you, Cody. I think they're going to definitely run the ball more than they have the past years with Aaron Rodgers there. Last year, Jones had the second most carries of his career, which was interesting to me, 214. The big dip that we saw was his touchdowns. They went the last 4 seasons, right? This is the weird part. 16 touchdowns, 9, 4, then 2. Every year, they're pretty much split in half. So that's the scary part for me, especially because Dillon went last 3 years 2, 5, 7. So he's getting that premium goal line work. We see that. I don't think Dillon's good. I think they realize that he's really not that good. So he's going to get his. It's 2 years in a row where he's gotten 180 touches, 35 to 40 targets. Like, he's not anything special. Aaron Jones is going to be the pass catching back, but is Jordan Love going to dump it off how Aaron Rodgers was? That's the big question for me. Because Jones is going to get work, but I don't think he's going to get that premium work inside the goal line.
One more quick thought there, if you don't mind, on the Aaron Jones talk. You're exactly right. last year was so much better. It was obviously great for fantasy. He once again was a stud for fantasy.
I think he had.
But it was
sorry.
No.
Again, that he had a career high in targets too last season.
Career high in targets, career high in catches, career high in rushing yards.
Yeah.
He flat did it last year,
Mm-hmm.
other than touchdowns. And we talk about touchdowns being the least repeatable or the least accurate in terms of a long-term vision. Like, if he does what he did last year and puts 6 touchdowns even with it, like what he did last year with 6 touchdowns probably would have made him RB5. It could have been very well.
100%, but he was saved. He was saved in the touchdown category. I think he had 5 receiving.
He had 5 receiving, but on 59 catches, that's a. But on 59 catches, the 5 feels normal to me. Like if somebody caught 60 balls, I expect 5 TDs.
Quick question for you, and then we can move on. But do you see him getting 70 plus targets again with Jordan Love there?
I'm not going to go with the targets. I'm gonna look at catches, which I know why you're asking the targets, but I think the catches go down. But I still think he hits 50.
Okay.
I also think that, well, I have a couple things because I did put some notes here. The TD thing, as it is an unpredictable stat, we do see a correlation here. His are going down while AJ Dillon's are going up. So yes, it could be fluky. It is we see a correlation as to why it's going down and whose is going up. And I bet you we could look in some red zone work and see that more too.
Mm-hmm.
The one caveat, you're right, but the one caveat is the year before he had 8, 16, and 9. So you see that, I'm not going to count the 16, but you see 8 and 9 being pretty normal. The year he had 4, he only had 799 rushing yards. He just didn't get the touches that year. And so
AJ Dillon's been there since 9, not 16 though.
And his rookie year, he had like 60 touches.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And so the outside of last year being 2, which we're talking about, the other bad year, he only had 799 yards rushing. If we think he's going to rush for 1,100 yards.
2 seasons
then
ago?
The 799, yes. Then, you look at the 4 touchdowns on 799 and you're like, well, that doesn't seem quite as bad when it's not even 800 yards rushing. But go ahead, Mario. I didn't mean to steer your thunder.
No. I just everything that I'm going to say next pretty much doesn't add to the conversation whatsoever. But this is how I feel, and I want to express it. I can't see him doing it another year, dude. He turns 29 this season. I get it. I love Derrick Henry. I just think Derrick Henry is another beast. He's had about 1,300 total touches. He has played full seasons the last 4. All of these things sound so good, but then it's like, is this the year? No regression. We haven't seen any regression. So there is no statistical evidence of what I'm saying. So either he's going to keep on trucking or these wheels are going to fall off this season. And I'm going to go dive deeper in the conspiracy and you guys don't even have to comment on it if you don't want to. Because this is deep conspiracy. This is like, real deep conspiracy. And I almost didn't put this in here, but I have to. I've always thought, and so does the internet, that AJ Dillon is very similar to King Henry. He's baby King Henry, right? Like that's been a huge comparison on the internet.
Productivity.
Henry didn't turn up the heat. Go look. Didn't turn up the heat until it was his 3rd season, but it was the end of his 3rd season. Yeah, there is DeMarco Murray. Who's that familiar with? Aaron Jones. And
but
Henry
what round was Derrick Henry drafted?
First, I think
he was a first-round pick.
AJ Dillon
first or second. Like he was an elite running back coming out of Bama.
I looked at their college stats, and AJ Dillon, I think, may have played another year, which is a whole nother thing. Closer than you may think, but not that quite close. But Henry turned up the heat right around 415 NFL carries. AJ Dillon's at 419 right now. Deep conspiracy. Here it comes, boys. AJ Dillon. I'm all in on a lot of Green Bay players. Go ahead, Rob. Sorry.
No, you're fine. I'm just if you want to put your money in that stock.
My rankings aren't like that.
Feel free, brother. But I don't see it.
Your ranks that you give on here, these ECR ranks. Oh no, these are dad bod ranks. I was gonna say I don't know where ECR is, but that dad bod rank, I'm okay with that rank on AJ Dillon. I don't want to give my Aaron Jones love seem like AJ Dillon hate. Like I like that play if you're drafting him at RB28.
So just for I just pulled this up while you guys were talking.
Such upside.
ADP for these guys is Aaron Jones is 16th RB, 54 overall. AJ Dillon is 33rd RB, 98 overall.
Give me both.
So I would take him at
honestly,
RB.
I could see both.
I can see both big time. Because that could be your RB4, your RB1, or sorry, your RB2 and your RB4. I feel ultra comfortable because even if somebody gets an injury, I have an instant RB1.
I like both the guys for price. I think you're spot on. Like, I don't know if I would really truly love. I would probably like having both of them on my team. It's like a handcuff plus.
I mean, if you can get Aaron Jones for an RB2, like I'm very comfortable with that.
Yeah, because you're already 4 picks in.
That's round 5, right? Am I right?
Yeah.
So round 5, and what did you say the overall was on Dylan?
93 or 98.
98. Oh, so you're telling me round 5 and 8. 9th. Yeah, round 5 and 8, and I'm guaranteed at least an RB2. Like one of these guys is going to be an RB2, and could get an RB1 either through Aaron Jones performing or one of them going down with an injury. Well, give me, round 5 and round 8 for that.
Yeah,
I like it.
And we both think that touches are going up for probably both of them.
I'm glad you guys talked about that last part. We're going to keep us moving, but that last edition was great.
Do you think they might sign Daryl?
I was like, what is this dude cutting me off for? And you cut me. It was perfect. With the question that I am going to completely sit out and just let you guys, because we don't need me anymore on this. What can Jordan Love be for this team?
Yeah, there we go. We got him.
Yeah, I think our dad ball ranking's pretty good to me. I don't see QB1.
He's high.
Yeah, it's high, but high. It's a little higher than me.
Do I skew it?
But yeah, you skew it because I think I'm like 20, low 20.
Yeah,
somebody's got to be above 18. No, or is it just me?
You. I think it's just
There's no way I carry that much weight. All right, keep going. Sorry,
I don't see a QB. I don't see a QB1 season, and with the receiving core, I don't see the rushing that I know Mario's talked about in the past. So if I don't see all that rushing, and if
don't either, I said
okay. With this receiving core and looking at the 2 running backs they have, I don't see an avenue to a QB1 season. And in addition, I just don't see an avenue to like, hey, he explodes into a superstar with this receiving core. And so if the guy isn't a QB1 and doesn't have this like, hey, he could break through for me, I probably am not going to roster him. Because if I'm taking a QB 18 through 22, it's because I think it's an Anthony Richardson. I think this guy could just meteoric. And I don't see either of those things.
Like QB 10.
I won't be rostering Jordan Love this year for those reasons.
Hey, Rich.
He will be rostered. It won't be me.
Yeah. I'm not as sold as Mario. I think he can be good. I like him a lot. You guys know I drafted him in our leagues. I held on to him for years. My main concern with him this season is looking back at how LaFleur used Aaron Rodgers and how often they threw the ball throughout the seasons. I just don't see him throwing the ball enough in this offense to warrant a QB1. Like Aaron Rodgers could produce with those few amount of attempts because of how super efficient he is. I don't think Jordan Love's going to come out and be that efficient. And that's my main knock on him. I love Christian Watson. We're about to get into him a little bit, but the receiving core, I'm not super high on, but I'm not super low on them either. I think there's good talent there.
Young,
but I just don't think there's going to be enough volume in this pass offense for Love to catapult himself into that top 15, top 12 QBs.
I'm just looking up what they threw last year, and I'll add to it, but we'll keep going. So we're talking about Jordan Love. Are there any wide receivers that you're looking at on this Green Bay team that you're thinking is worth rostering? And you can pull in the ADP if you have it handy.
Wow, we're high on Christian Watson. Who's doing that?
Me and Norton.
Jeez.
I'm right around where that wide. I'm like 24.
Goodness. Can somebody get me the ECR on that? It cannot be anywhere close to that, I don't think.
Give me 1 second.
It is?
Oh, yeah. He goes like in the 50s.
Watson is going wide receiver 21, 40 overall.
Dang. 40 overall? Yeah,
You're behind, Cody. You're behind.
Here I was gonna say, like, hey, Christian Watson has a ton of upside. I think it's worth a flyer. Not if you draft him as your wide receiver too.
The one thing
Green Bay throws 560 to 600 times
Jordan
a year.
Love
I
doesn't
think that's that low.
You can't just act like he's going to get Aaron Rodgers work.
And that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Like if he's giving Aaron Rodgers like to the last like 3 seasons, they're around 550 pass attempts. It's not going to go up with Jordan Love coming. It's going to go down pretty. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
5 to 520. Get the hell for real, both of you.
With Aaron Rodgers, they threw 550 with Aaron stinking.
5 to 520 is like close to bottom 3, bottom 4.
So was 5.
I mean, that's outlandish. The best players in their teams are both running backs.
Are you guys crazy? No, Christian Watson's clearly the second best player. His ECR is wide receiver 21.
Oof. Woof.
Yeah.
So are you in at that price, Robbie? Wide receiver 21?
I would have to see what's there. My other available options and stuff like that. I mean, Christian Watson, to me, he has the potential to be a bona fide wide receiver 1 in this league. Like he
has big upside. It's true.
Within the years, I could see him being like a legit top 8 wide receiver taken off the board in fantasy drafts because the potential is there. He's a super freak talent.
Touchdown monster. Because I know he only had like 7 or 8 last year, but it was on limited work.
Yeah, but looking at those games last year where Mario, we pulled this up. I don't know off the top of my head I'm going with it, but it was games with like 70% snaps. He had over 18 points in like every game. It was something wild like that, where he is, and he could do it on 4 or 5 catches.
He did it with Love.
This is interesting. Go ahead. It's what you're saying, but go ahead.
He's just that he could do it on 4 or 5 catches. He could take that ball at the 50 and just burn the rest of the defense for a touchdown. Like that's why I'm high on him as opposed to Love, because all Love has to do is get him the ball a handful of times in a game, and he could do the damage himself, which is going to help Love's stats out, obviously. But Watson is just that kind of player where he could do it on 6-7 targets a game and be a wide receiver.
Catches. Yeah,
wide receiver.
Honestly, he can do it on 3 or 4 catches. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is just interesting. Not a bad thing necessarily, but it kind of shows the star upside you talked about, but maybe some inconsistency being young. Last 8 games, he went over 100 yards 3 times, didn't top 50 in a single other game. So really great.
Okay, maybe I was wrong then with that.
Well, no, he had some touchdowns. I mean, he had a bunch of touchdowns. So like he could have had 40 yards and a touchdown. That could make him 8. Well.
You're talking yards.
I'm talking yards. Yeah. So he went over 103 games, under 50 all the others. Okay. And so I'm saying this is a positive that like if a guy can put up north of 100 yards 3 times, there's some legitimacy to his game.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. There is. And it's on the tape.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. He had a nice stretch in weeks 10 through 13.
Yeah.
I like
because even one of those under 50 games, he had 2 touchdowns.
I do think that Romeo Doubs is interesting. I think Jalen Reed. Jaden.
I own a lot of him, by the way.
I think he's interesting. I think if you have any love, and I think this is more for Dynasty, but I also think these guys could be nice flyers late. If you have any sort of Jordan Love, I would be taking a stab on all of these guys for price. Christian Watson's the riskiest, obviously. So I don't blame you if you pass on Watson in the 4th round is what he's going at. But I think Dobbs and Reed are both nice flyers, especially
with Watson. Especially Dobbs.
Dobbs flashed nice last year. He fell off, but there was some real like solid plays that he made. And I'm actually kind of surprised that we don't hear more about him.
He's going 118, 55th wide receiver. For that price, like I'm all in because I think he's good. And same with Jaden. I mean, Jaden Reed's even below that. I'm a big fan of Jaden.
I'd probably go Dobbs. I would go Dobbs before Reed, personally.
I would too.
His tape,
and I own a lot of Reed in Dynasty, and I still would go Dobbs.
His tape at Michigan State was no joke. Like he was very, very good.
I still don't think this is a very good wide receiver core. Just to make sure I put that out.
It's
there.
Young.
It's young.
It's young. I shouldn't say not unknowns.
It's young.
Yeah,
it's young.
All right, boys. Well, we're doing good. We're on track. We got to go to the Lions. Everybody's favorite team right now. The hot Lions. Oh, by the way, now that we have 20 seconds to kill. So when you said there's upside, I mean, do we think of does he have big upside energy?
Big upside. Is this a thing? New thing I missed?
No.
Okay. Dude, yeah, no, I like this. This is great.
Copyrighted now.
Big upside energy. I like
I just wish it sounded better instead of saying, does he have boo?
Yeah, right.
No, I'm going to say it all the time. All right, anyways. Jared Goff. Is he a QB1? A QB1, so not the QB1. Is he a top 12 QB? Who wants to kick it off?
It's close. I mean, it's close. Here's the thing. It's never going to be sexy, is it, guys?
Dude, he was throwing passes with his eyes closed. I thought that was like
fabulous last year. He was fabulous. He actually, regardless of where he finished for fantasy, he was a top 10 NFL QB last year. I think that's safe to say by all metrics.
I'm fine with that.
Last year he was 6th in yards, 5th in touchdowns, 9th in passer rating. He only threw 7 picks. Like, you add J-Mo later in the season. You've got Gibbs as a weapon. I know you're out Hawkinson, but it didn't seem to phase him. So you got Laporta in that place. I think the weapons, if anything, are improving overall. I think he can run back what he did last year. The downside with Jared Goff is there's a good chance you're getting QB 8 through 14. And are you okay with QB 8 through 14? So is he going to finish the QB 1? I think there's a chance of that. Is he going to win you many weeks? Probably not.
Yeah. For me, I like Goff as a quarterback, and I think he's very, very good for the weapons on the team. But I'm just not willing to put him on my team. Just the upside isn't there, right? The upside's not there. If I'm taking a swing on a QB late, I want some upside. 6 out of 17 games he produced as a QB1 last season. Like, that's not doing anything for me. You know what I mean? True. That's just, and if you put that on, if you play him, like, your statistics show you're not going to get QB1 production that week. So
if you say you only had,
he might finish his QB like 14 or 15 on the season just because of consistency and people getting hurt, stuff like that. But at the end of the day,
he can finish 10, 11, 12, really.
100%. And at the end of the day, when you're plugging him into your lineup, in the back of your mind, you got to say, okay, he's going to get me, like, this week he's going to be QB 17, 16. And that for me, I'm just not willing to do that.
And we talked about, real quick, Mario, I'm sorry. We talked about lacking that elite upside. If he's only a QB1 6 times, was it 6
out of 17 games. Yeah.
Okay, then, like, he's not winning you any weeks.
He won't. Yeah.
And I think the upside is there, boys. I think it is there. Yeah, like, he's going 128 and he's going 128 and underdog right now. All right.
Well, let's help me out with the rounds. We're on the same page.
It doesn't matter
with upside, though. Like, do you think he could be QB5?
Well, wait. I get the question that I posed, which was, is he a QB1? So I apologize. But Robbie said he's not somebody that I'm actively targeting. But I think for where he's going, which is, I don't know what QB, but 128, so that's round 11.
So Fantasy Pros, I'll just give you what Fantasy Pros has. They have him going 98th overall, 16th quarterback going off the board. That's in line with Geno Smith, Aaron Rodgers,
upside
Russell
versus
Wilson.
Draft space, but not upside at the position.
Well, here's why the upside is there. He had 29 touchdowns. Now I get it. He's not Herbert, right? Like, there's not anything that's going to tell us that he will for sure crack Herbert. Like the way that you and I personally feel that Herbert touchdown numbers will go up. But Jamal Williams took 17 of those TDs. 17. True. Now, I get it. We're like, D-Mott's going to kind of come in and play that role. But to predict that a running back is going to take 17 touchdowns, that's a huge number. Not only that, I don't expect their because his passing attempts weren't insane last year. So I don't expect them to necessarily go lower, even though I do expect this defense to be a little bit better. But they weren't as high as I was expecting when I looked it up. I think it was less than 600. It's hard to predict that, like, D-Mont will get any of those. And then you have to expect, like, this is going to be a good team. This is going to be a good offense. Like,
so I think that's where me and you have to have that talk is, like, last season, the offense as a whole played out of their mind compared to what everyone expected, what we all thought. Now, can they keep that going into this season? Sure, they could, but they could also take a little step back and not have it. I mean, they were a top 10 scoring offense last season. Like, do you see that happening again? I don't know. There's a real possibility that we're talking about the Detroit Lions next year. Like, what are we doing? Because 2 years ago they were awesome. Last year they were Like, it's a possibility because all these guys.
I mean, that's a possibility with every team, though.
It is, but especially a team that like
had this big rise out of nowhere.
Had a huge spike. I don't see them taking another step. I can't see another step. And I get what you're saying. There's 17 touchdowns vacated from the running back position. And yeah, that could go to Goff and stuff, but I just don't see him ever. I think last year was his ceiling. I really do.
He's played better than last year, but this is a 9-8
different
team
offense
that we're saying has already hit their peak. Like, slow down. I get it. Their offense may have been top 10, but that doesn't mean that they can't. This is this way, right? We're not talking about a team that's like going this way. We're adding a rookie running back that is
it's not
most likely going to be.
You're saying it's going this way, right?
It went going up.
It literally went like this. Like, it was a terrible offense and took a massive jump forward. Now, for them,
they're only adding people. They're only adding. They have Jameson coming back eventually. They added a young tight end. They added a young running back.
They lost Hawkinson.
Yeah, but they were
better.
They were better without Hawkinson.
So then the tight end to me is nothing, right?
But even if you don't watch that, adding J-Mo and Gibbs, you have to see his additions to the passing game.
There's gotta be. And then let's move into this because I think this is a good kind of segue in here because it's all Lions. Where are you expecting? I want to go to you, Rob, because I already did kind of sneak peek and look at your notes here. What are you expecting from Amon since he was your guy? What are you expecting once Jameson returns?
Yeah, I think everyone knows my love for Amon. I don't think there's any, he's been my guy for at the beginning of last season, and he still is one of my favorite players in the league. I absolutely love him as a player. I am probably out on him at ADP this season.
Albert's right. Golf was horrendous on road last year. There's an area of improvement that could happen right there, boys. And I don't have Golf ranked that high. I just think there's upside at QB 16. Go ahead. Sorry.
There's also a thing to be said that the dude's probably played almost all of his games in a dome or like turf field in LA and there. Like, he might just not be good outside. Like, that's a
good thing he's in Detroit.
And he was from LA.
He was one of our little hands guys, wasn't he? Back in the day.
Yeah.
Wasn't he? Goff had small hands.
Yeah. Maybe not. I could be wrong.
I think you're right. I think that was talk during the draft.
I don't know.
Tall. He's tall to have small hands.
He's like a 6'4". Yeah. I could be wrong.
I think I'm out at ADP. I think he's going to finish as a top 15 wide receiver. There's no questions. I have him at, I think, 10 right now, 10 or 11. But where he's going in drafts is the ceiling of him and what he can do for your fantasy team isn't worth that pick for me, where 5 out of 14 weeks, man. I'll go back to this, right? 5 out of 14 weeks, and I took away 2 games that he played less than 50% of the snaps. So he did play 16 weeks, but I took those 2 away. He finished wide receiver 1 in 5 of the 14 weeks. On the flip side, he also finished outside the top 24 5 of the 14 times. So, like, he's going to be very steady Eddie for most of the weeks. He'll have a couple spike weeks, and then he'll have a couple down weeks. I owned him on every team last year. Like, he produced every week was like a wide receiver 2 number. It was like 14 to 15 points weekly. And then you'll get a spike where you're going to get 30, 35 points. He'll win you that week. But that's rare. And for drafting your QB or your wide receiver 1 that high, where you're not going to get those consistent boom weeks like a CD Lamb, like a AJ Brown, where you can kind of bank on you're going to get some big spike weeks. You can't bank on that with him. But he's going to be very consistent for you.
I guess we are going to disagree a ton this episode. And it's funny because I was the one hating on you for Amon-Ra last year.
Yeah, but
we're talking. I heard you.
Yeah.
Back to week 12 of 2021. Dude is averaging 9.68 targets a game. Well, you got to let me say it. I get that you're reading it. You got to let me say it.
I get all his metrics are stupid. Like, I get
That's
it.
165 targets a year. So you're talking about not taking a guy because he might have some boom or bust weeks. But like when I'm looking at a wide receiver 1, who I'm drafting as wide receiver 1, I'm drafting and running back and tight end, all of it. I want volume. Obviously, there's tiers between the value, but like higher volume, it goes skill and then volume. They're right here for me if I'm looking at a guy. And I think there's huge value with him going wide receiver 9 because you might think, oh, he might lose some targets. Jameson's going to be there. They drafted Laporta. They got Gibbs now. But it's hard to assume that Jameson, Laporta, and Gibbs are going to eat into his target share when Hockenson, Swift, and Chark are vacating 165 targets. Plus, Khalif Raymond and Josh Reynolds had 123 targets. So, like, I think his targets are safe. Well, they were playing. Yeah, that's what I get. I understand that. But like,
you also got, that's the other thing. Like, it was Amon-Ra last year. That's it, right?
But I mean, look at all of those targets that are just those.
I get it.
Laporta. Like his targets should pretty much go left untouched. That's 200.
Yeah, and again, I have him at my wide receiver 10 or 11. But I'm saying for me personally, with like how I draft a team and how I like to build my team, for my wide receiver 1, where I know for most of the weeks Amon is going to put up wide receiver 2 numbers, it's not worth that draft capital. Now, if he was going like 14, where he could be my wide receiver 2, like that's a no brainer for me. But if I'm drafting him as my wide receiver 1, I think there's better options that they can get you those boom weeks more often to win you weeks.
The situation though is I mean, it can play out a couple ways, but you would have to be late round. You'd probably have to be 9 or 10 in a 12-man draft. And I would assume you would already get either a stud wide receiver or a stud running back at 9 or 10, and then it comes back to you. So
if he fell to the second, I'm taking him. No, yeah,
he would.
He's falling to second. Oh yeah,
he's falling early second though.
I would think he'd be a 2-3. I would think he's a 2-3 turn guy.
There's 6 or 7 wide receivers going first round, maybe 8.
Maybe it is middle second.
No, I think it's early second.
There's not
18th
is
overall.
It early second?
Okay, it's middle second is over. That's on underdog, so it may be different one way or the other.
So would you rather have him as your wide receiver? Like, say you get a CD Lamb or AJ Brown, it's coming back to you, and it's between
it'd be ecstatic wide receiver 2. Okay, go ahead.
It would be a fantastic wide receiver 2, but would you rather have him or Garrett Wilson or Jalen Waddle?
Well, that's just not fair. But I would have him on over Waddle. I would have him on over Waddle.
Garrett Wilson's really boy.
Garrett.
It's super close for me. Like that's very, very close.
I'll say one thing to real quick. I want to cut in for a second. To Mario's point, they had 4 receivers over like basically 500 yards and more. So there is more. There was more depth. That's not counting Hockenson. That's not counting Tennant. I'm talking wide receivers. So they spread the ball around a lot.
Do you think it's depth, or do you think it's Jared Goff likes to spread the ball around?
Spread the ball around. But I think when those
he
guys
also likes a hyper target, right?
But he's he's not going over what he got last year.
Oh, I think he will. Go ahead, Cody.
But you don't really need him to.
Yeah, 148's nice.
Well, but 148, and he's a possession receiver. Like, let's keep in mind here, like, we're not talking 148 targets where it catches 72 of them. Like, he caught 106 last year. He's a possession receiver. And so that gives you a ton of security, especially PPR leagues. Obviously, this is a guy you like more in PPR. Like, that type of guy doesn't need 160 some targets. If he runs those targets back, he's going to be fine.
That's
great. I'm not arguing that.
He goes higher.
I'm saying he's going to be fine. But if I'm going for my wide receiver 1 in the late first, early second, mid second, like I want a receiver that has the potential to maybe be a top 5 receiver, and I don't see that with Amon. Like, I see it with Jalen Waddle. I see it with Garrett Wilson. I really don't think I don't see it with Amon, especially when Jameson Williams comes back.
I have him ranked at 9.
Always going to go to him.
I have him at 9. Dad Bod's at 9. ECR's at 9. But he is a guy I kind of gave you a point there, but I'll give Robbie a point in this debate because he's not a guy I'm ecstatic to have as my wide receiver 1. I'm okay with it. If I did really well, let's say he falls later second and I've already got, a stud running back or whatever it is. Like I'm okay with it. But if I come away and Amon's my wide receiver 1, I'm like, okay, I guess.
I think that's more of a conversation about possession receiver versus AJ Brown
That's
or
true.
Devontae.
Yeah,
that's true.
Right? Like
But
nobody
he's
ever
also-
felt excited to have Jarvis Landry as their wide receiver
It's
one
true.
when he was a solid possession receiver.
And I know touchdowns are tough to like correlate year to year and all that sort of stuff.
Jamal took 17.
He could have a boom spike at touchdowns, and I'll look like a dumbass, and he could finish as a top 4 wide receiver. Would I be surprised? No, but I'm just saying for where he's going in the draft, I'd rather take a shot at like a Waddle, Garrett Wilson, one of those receivers where I could see a huge jump forward this season where they could finish easily. For me, I think there's a real possibility of those two sneaking into the top 5 as opposed to Amon, where I think last year was kind of his ceiling.
All right, dudes. Do we have any? I think I want to move us. We've talked Gibbs and Montgomery quite a bit. Did you guys have any quick hitters?
Not terribly. I mean, Robbie, I think you made a fair point there. It's worth bringing up. I mean, I think I'll say it. I think Monty's got a good ADP. I just don't buy it. Like they only went to Jamal Williams because they quit on Swift. It wasn't because they decided they wanted a plotter, and Montgomery's just another plotter.
Yeah, I think the only for ADP, like you mentioned it a few times, Jamal Williams is vacating 17 touchdowns, 33 rush attempts inside the 5. That's going to go to Monty if they're.
I think there's just a good chance it's Gibbs. I think they just quit on Swift, but we don't need to dive into that.
You could be right. And it could be kind of 50-50 in that sort of scenario, which it wouldn't surprise me either, because I think Jahmyr Gibbs doesn't get enough credit for how tough he is inside the tackles. But where Monty's going for his ADP, like I like that spot. Like I'm willing to take Monty where he's going.
All right, let's kick it over to the Vikings, boys. And I think this is the hottest question, and I am pumped to talk about it. Let's talk Alexander Mattison. How high are we on him? Who wants to kick it off?
I'll kick it off.
Oh, go ahead, Cody.
Oh, sorry. Well,
No,
he's a hard one for me. I've got him at 18, mid RB2. I guess I'm high on him. But just knowing the productivity that the Vikings RB1 has had, I struggle to go much lower. I don't feel like I'm in love with Alexander Mattison. I don't feel like I'm like, hey, this guy finally got his chance. He's Dalvin Cook now. I don't feel like I feel any of that. But, I projected him for 1,000 yards, 8 touchdowns, and only 200 and some yards receiving. I think it's a conservative stat line for an RB1 in this offense.
That receiving line is conservative.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm being conservative, and it still charts him out at 18. So I don't think I can go lower, but I don't think I love him either. But apparently I love him.
No, the DABA ranking is going to go up with your adjusted ranking today.
Yeah, okay.
So it'll probably jump up to around, I would say 2019, somewhere around there.
I can get you ECR on him if you stick with me, but ECR might not be updated well either.
Yeah, I have him at 20 right now with good upside. So he's somebody
24.
that
ECR.
He's somebody I'm targeting in that tier because I think his upside, he has that top, he could be a 15.
He has RB1 upside. I think that's
I would
fair
say
to
that's tight, but I think there's very real possibility of high RB2 upside. You hit everything that I was going to go over, Cody, where he's going to get most of that work in this offense. The offense is good. He should be very good if he gets that same work.
Boys.
What are you laughing about, Mario? I missed it.
Just how you said it, dude. It was cracking me up. The way you said it, it sounded like you were like defending something. It was,
this could be an RB1. This offense has made an RB1 for 5 years in a row. It can make another one.
He's got big upside energy, boys. Let me tell you why.
It is.
So
get that big BE. No,
BUE.
BUE. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Let's pronounce it Bowie. Game. It sounds better. Bowie.
Bowie sounds better. Yeah. We get to finally play my favorite game, and that's my overreaction to a small sample size, boys. Hey!
I thought it was actually a game. I was excited.
Yeah, well, it's exciting when I read off these stats. Are you guys ready for them?
Ready.
In the 5 games that Alexander Mattison has had over 50% of his snaps, modest number, right? 50%. In the 5 games, it's only been 5 in his career, he's had 127 carries, 563 yards, and 3 touchdowns. In the receiving game, he has had 28 targets, 25 receptions, and 236 yards with 2 TDs. So this in
25
games,
receptions in 5 games?
That's right.
Holy smokes. I need to look at his receiving.
He's a better pass catcher than he's a better pass catcher than Dalvin. And they used him more there. In 5 games, this breaks down to, as an average, 25 carries. That's a high number. You extrapolate that into 17, that's 425. 112 yards, 0.6 TDs in the rushing, 5.6 targets a game, 5 receptions a game, 0.4 touchdowns. You know what if you do take that all 17?
RB1.
22.2 points per game on this average.
To be fair, that's like 400 carries.
So 425, yeah.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, how do we not get too crazy? And this is still too crazy. But like take 25% right off the top. Off of his points per game. That puts him at 16.65. I didn't do it on the stats. I didn't feel like getting too crazy because I didn't want to reread that. 16.65 points per game puts him at RB7. I mean,
which
there
is
is some
where Dalvin's
massive...
been, by the way. Dalvin's been an RB7 kind of guy. I mean, that makes sense.
There's like the concern should be, the only concern I have about Madison is probably, I think they're fully committed to him. I don't know.
Does he get it all? That is the question. Say it.
Yeah.
Does he get it all?
It's got to be, because there is a couple guys back there that you may be like, not sure. I know he's not going to get 25 carries a game. I'll be happy with 18. I'll be happy with 16. I will be ecstatic if these targets and receptions stay the same, which I think that's possible.
It's a weird sample size on the catches because like he's top 20 targets in 1 year. Now I know he's not on the field a lot, but like he had a ton of receptions in those games, but he hasn't really done it in games.
It was only the games where he would like
down back, if you would say. Yes.
They
didn't bring him on the field as their receiving back ever. That wasn't a thing.
No, he wasn't playing I don't know, Duke Johnson, sort of the DeAndre Swift.
Which makes me nervous. Like maybe his pass pro is not that good.
Well, and I think the one other concern you could have a little bit outside of does he get all the work is he hasn't been prolific. He was prolific in those 5 games, but he's a career below average running back in the NFL if you look at him statistically. And so that's at least a piece we have to consider. We don't know what he'll be with a large workload. A lot of guys ramp up when they get that dedicated workload. But
there's a couple of running backs, and Derrick Henry is obviously one of them. And I'm not putting him. There's a couple of running backs that I need more carries to get moving. Like they just start wearing down the deep. Nick Chubb is kind of like that. They wear down the defense, and you always see the same kind of argument. Like, okay, this guy, like Jaylen Warren, you hear a bunch of people talking about how efficient, how great his stats were, and everything. But the real thing is like, okay, give him a full workload of a season, and let's see if those efficiency metrics stay up. With Madison, it's almost like you feel opposite. Like I want him to have I don't want him to have 25 carries a game. Nobody should want that. Honestly.
But you want to see him get 225 carries at least.
At least. Yep.
Yeah.
If he gets 225, I think he's an easy top 15. Assuming that his reception numbers are fine.
Yeah.
60 targets.
That's big upside here. I mean, I think repeat it again. There's big upside here. This is a guy, if ECR is RB24, and I don't know what average draft is right now, but if there's a guy you can draft between RB18 and 24 who has
kind of nice
upside,
this is the like you should be. This is key 0 RB right here. Like if you just
0 RB or you love him as an RB2 because you feel really safe.
You'd feel freaking great RB2.
He's got him at RB27 right now.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean that'll
go up,
dude. Give me him and AJ Dillon.
So now we took Aaron Jones, Madison, AJ Dillon.
And we still got Tyreek Hill and Stephon Diggs in 1-2.
You haven't drafted your RB3 yet because I said I like Dillon as my RB4. So you still got to get your RB3.
Okay.
Cam Akers from Mario.
Ooh, yeah. Ouch. That hurts.
Pain. All right. Moving on to the receiving weapons in this offense is Hawkinson, the wide receiver 2 for the Vikings. The second option, Robbie.
Yeah, for me, it's a no-brainer. I think he is clear-cut the number 2. He's competing with a rookie wide receiver who I think is good, but a lot of the time it takes a rookie a little bit of time to get acclimated to the offense, and he was really, really good last season. especially when he got traded to the Vikings. He's my tight end 3 this season. He keeps slipping between 2 and 3. I think this is the season that Hawkinson's going to take another step forward, kind of cement himself as that in that tier with like Mark Andrews, Kittle, like that group, where they're going to be the top 5 off the board. Kelsey's in a world of his own, so I'm not even going to, bring his name into that conversation. But I like Hawk a lot this season, and I like where he's going in draft, so I probably have a little bit of shares of Hawkinson.
Yeah, a lot of the same things you said there. In the 10 games that he played for Minnesota, 86 targets in 10 games. That's a 146 target pace. Now, do I think Hawkinson's getting 146 targets? No, I don't. But I think the Vikings put their money where their mouth is when they traded for this guy and they said, we're going to get him the ball. And so 125 or 130 targets, I think, is on the table for this guy. And if he gets 125 targets as a tight end, he's wide receiver 2 in this offense then.
I'm with you, Cody.
Albert brings a good point about Alexander Madison that I just wanted to come back to. 4 of the 5 games were Detroit and Seattle.
That's hilarious. Albert, how did you know that? That's amazing.
I know Detroit is terrible defensively, but Seattle had a terrible defensive line in recent years?
Well, I hate
the last
hearing
one was
that
the Rams
because we have their defensive tackle now, right? As Browns fans, so
yeah.
We just talked about him on last night's episode, actually. I don't have much to say on Hawkinson. I love the dude. He looks like a majestic beast in this picture. So moving on to Justin Jefferson, is he risk-free? Like, we don't have to spend a ton of time on JJ, but are you any concerns about his targets?
Outside of freak injury, yes. As
Robbie?
safe as it gets.
Yeah, same thing. Outside of him getting hurt or Kirk Cousins getting hurt, he's plug and play. He's wide receiver 1 or 2. He's going to another 180 targets.
He's wide receiver 1, just so we're clear.
I think Cooper Kupp's got something to say about that, but
you and I are probably high guys on Cooper Kupp because I'm still in on Kupp too. But let's not get too cute here. It's JJ.
Wait, am I low on
still? Who was number 1 points per game last season? Wide receiver.
Everybody's high on Kupp.
Was it Kupp? Is everybody high on Kupp?
Within the first 4. Alex is a low guy at 4.
I'm at wide receiver 1. Yeah.
That's What am I 2? I assume or no?
But it's like JJ and him are like 2 points apart. So yeah, he's there. He's that guy.
I don't want to derail. Here's the argument just real quick for JJ at 1, because we're talking about JJ. With Cooper Kupp, you have a higher risk of injury and you have a higher risk of his quarterback getting injured. Those 2 things alone are enough risk for me to easily take JJ.
No, that's fair. Yeah, if I was put in the position of taking JJ or Cooper Kupp, I would go JJ for sure. But I'm saying you can snag Cooper Kupp, mid first, and I'm feeling great about it.
I'm naming my second son JJ because of Justin Jefferson.
Did he win you a league?
And Josh Jacobs.
No, it's just Justin Jefferson.
Call him Jettas for short.
He actually is going to be named JJ.
You got to call him Jetta. Get him a grill.
Yeah, that Rams offensive line is a little rough. That is the concern. If there's a point to be made, that would be the point. Let's go to the Bears, where we're going to talk about our podcast's favorite guy, Justin Fields. Is he 1,000-yard rusher with the added weapons? Cody, let's kick off to you.
I'm knocking him down a peg on the rushing because I think obviously they found out, hey, this guy is our QB. I think the Bears feel that. Maybe I'm crazy, but I think the Bears feel that. And if that's the case, obviously you want to win games, but at the same time, you're thinking somewhat like, hey, do we really want our QB rushing for 1,100 yards every year? I'm going to keep him in the 800s. I think he still probably leads the league in rushing amongst quarterbacks, but I think it comes back that 20% is my projection.
Robbie?
Yeah, I think so. If you break it down over 17 games, that's 59 yards a game. And Fields can do that in 2 scrambles.
That is true.
I think 1,000 yards is easily doable for him, even if they cut his running back, like his gimmicky runs and stuff like that. Now, I think his rushing around the goal line comes back. I do, 100%. I don't think they're going to be doing any bootleg stuff out, let him run into the end zone. I don't see that happening. But 1,000-yard season for one of the best rushing quarterbacks we've seen in a very long time, I think easily doable for him.
It's on the table. I'll give you that for sure.
Yeah, when you think about it, 59 yards a game for somebody like Justin Fields is easy. It's just, can he stay healthy for those 17 games?
Yeah. My concern is this, and I'm not saying that Fields isn't or is going to run for 1,000 yards, but when it comes in, this isn't supposed to feel targeted towards you, Rob.
Go ahead, dude.
But it's going to. Something has to give here, right? Like you can't just be like, Fields can rush for 1,000 yards, and you know what? DJ Moore, top 12 wide receiver. I don't know what you have.
Plus all their other signings. You can't just ignore all the other signings and trades.
Perfect point, Cody. But
when has
Lamar ever rushed for 1,000 yards and then giving their receiver a top 20 finish? It's never happened. You're going to say, oh,
how about Mark Andrews?
I mean, Andrews finishes up there all the time. Andrews never crossed 1,000 until last year, and that was a lot without Lamar last season. He had 1,300 yards last season. It was a great year. Great. He would have finished probably top 6 wide receivers, my thought. Lamar didn't. Number one, Lamar was on pace for 1,000, so I'll give you that. Lamar didn't make it to the full season.
Go ahead.
Hollywood never made it there. So, like, I guess my point is
different receivers. Different receivers.
DJ Moore isn't Mark Andrews either.
Oh, go on, dude.
That's the point is I don't know how you could necessarily predict a QB to be so dominant in rushing, and then also
should we just get into DJ Moore?
Yeah, that's a perfect segue.
We're here. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna sit this one out. You two Duke DJ Moore. I'm gonna take a breather.
Oh, you want this? Ding 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 ding. I don't know how much I don't want to bash DJ Moore. Like this is not what I want to do. I think he's a good receiver. Just not elite. He's not elite. We're on a run first offense. You add a guy that's never even cracked the top 15 in wide receivers. It just doesn't excite me. We have, say what you want, Claypool. We have Cole Kmet. You also are ranked high on Cole Kmet too.
He's what, my tight end 12? What is that? What does that mean? He's my tight end 12.
It's a lot of sustaining.
No, I was going to say, to the point, that's my only thought on DJ Moore is there's too many weapons. It's not a dislike for DJ Moore. I think DJ Moore's fine. Yeah, because they traded a lot for Claypool. They've got money invested in Mooney. They've got Cole Kmet. They signed.
Go ahead.
They signed Green Bay tight end, name slipping my mind at the moment.
Robert Tonyan.
I mean, like they've added 3 new weapons to Mooney and Kmet. Like there's a lot of mouths for a QB who's going to run a lot. There just is.
There is.
I'm not saying they're studs. There's just a lot of mouths.
Yeah, we're just off. You know, me and you guys were off. We'll see who's, king at the end of the season with the DJ Moore calls. But
we know who'll be king. Why am I in this? I thought I was sitting this out.
I guess where we differ, especially me and you, Cody, is like, one, they royally screwed up the Claypool trade. I think that's very apparent. They're already talking about maybe trading him and moving him. Darnell Mooney proved last season that he really wasn't that great. He had a good rookie season, but what does that mean? Last year he did absolutely nothing.
He beefed up.
He beefed up. DJ Moore, I understand that he's never finished as a top what did you say, Mario? 15.
Yeah, he's 16.
The dude was in an offense that was so bad in Carolina, and he still consistently got over 1,000 receiving yards a year with that, and he was just not getting touchdowns. Like if the touchdowns were like if he was on
God, I just saw the touchdowns you have projected for him.
Yeah, that's a little high, but it'll move around. He's gonna stay where I have him. He just was not getting the touchdown work in Carolina. He was. What do I have him at 8?
I'm sorry.
11. I wasn't even going to say it till you asked me. I was going to.
No, yeah, well, Robbie's
going to move. Hold up. You're telling me DJ Moore is catching every single one of Justin Fields' touchdown passes this year?
Well, that's the other thing. I think we kind of have different views on where Justin Fields is going to go. I think he's going to take a massive jump forward passing wise this season. I have him at like 3,400 yards.
He better be your QB1 then.
Yeah, because that's where I say like something has to give here though. Like you can't. I'm not picking the side of which way he goes. I think I'm more on the rushing side actually. Actually, that is the side I'm on. But I can't see where you sustain 1,000, specifically 1,000. So I should be kind of clear because Jalen Hurts.
But let's be clear. I said it's doable for like I think it's very doable for 59 yards a game. Also,
but
we talk about this,
right? No?
We talk about this at nauseum, Mario. We are projecting for healthy seasons, right?
Yeah, I'm not even saying that either.
We're projecting for healthy seasons and 17 games. And in 17 games, I think 1,000 yards, and I have him like right at 1,000, like 1,050. I think that's easily done. And I think he's going to take a step forward in passing. And I think DJ Moore is going to be the red zone target in this offense because he's that damn good. And I think he is one of the best receivers in the league. He just has not had an offense or quarterback to sustain him. Now he's coming and he's going to an offense that, yeah, they're not going to throw a ton, but I think he's that good of a receiver where he's going to command 28 to 30% of the target share in this offense. I don't think Darnell Mooney is going to be good at all. Komet's okay. Like he's a fine tight end. I have him at tight end 12. And I don't think Chase Claypool is going to do anything this season. I think DJ Moore is just going to be that dude like JJ was last season, but at a smaller scale because they're not going to throw as much.
No.
I want to give you a thank you, Robbie. You encouraged me to lower DJ Moore in my rankings.
Good. Good. Give me more shares of DJ Moore.
I think
I can tell this is a player we're going to talk a lot this year, this offseason.
We will.
Mm-hmm.
And I know Lamar has had 1,000-yard rushing season. I think he's had 12, 11.
Where's Norton when you need him?
I know. Norton would bring up the like amazing efficiency stats that he has, and then somehow make you feel that Justin Fields is the next coming of passing QBs, and that the reality is he has not showed that he is.
Neither did Jalen. This is the same thing as last year in Philly. But you were so gung-ho on Jalen.
So different. I've talked about the differences.
Why? What's so different?
The whole team is different. You're talking about Devontae Smith, who was
DJ Moore would be wide receiver 3 on that team, in my opinion.
And AJ Brown. Then you have the best offensive line in the game while Chicago is putting out the sisters pour for their offensive linemen. And then on top of that,
they added to, and I have that in my notes. As long as the offensive line can hold up, they did add pieces to this offensive line. If they can be decent, like I think Fields can be good.
I just am explaining to you why, like the Jalen Hurts situation to me, like you're adding AJ Brown. He had some accuracy issues where he was slightly off. AJ Brown's a big body receiver. DJ Moore is good, not necessarily a big body receiver. You're going to adding a guy that where Justin Fields led the league in off target percentages from like 5 yards to 20 yards.
He was also running for his life last year.
I get it. But like, that's the thought. Like what you can add 3, I think it's like 2 offensive linemen. They draft one and they added one. Like that's going to help. But like, how much are we talking here? Like even the year that Cincinnati added, I think it was 3 linemen. Everybody was like, Cincinnati's line is going to be so good. The first 6 weeks, Joe Burrow looked like he was back in his rookie season. I was like, I thought this offensive line was supposed to be solid. So like a lot of things need to happen for the situations that we're talking about, which is Justin Fields possibly of hitting 1,000 yards rushing, DJ Moore being a possible top 15 wide receiver. Like there's just a lot.
There's one of the two, if not both, are going to happen. Like if DJ Moore,
I could see one of the two. I'm on the rushing side. I could see one of the two.
If DJ Moore doesn't have a good season, then it's going to be because the offensive line was terrible. And if the offensive line was terrible, that means Justin Fields running for his life, which means he's going to get over 1,000 yards.
Wait, did you just hear the disclaimer we just got? God,
he's got both projected, but he thinks at least one will happen. But I don't even know the
No. I'm still hardcore. I said one of two are for sure happening, if not both. I think both, and I think the rushing is going to be close.
It's fair. I see the correlations too. Like I get it. I think it's just a difference of DJ Moore for us. It's always has. I can't
wait for DJ Moore to be a top 10 wide receiver.
I hope it happens. You know what? I actually hope it happens in weeks 1 and weeks 2, so that way you can victory lap, and then we'll forget about this conversation. But you already enjoyed your win. Yeah, and then by week 17, when he finishes with wide receiver at 19, 20, we could be like, he already victory lap. Good.
This was the same conversation we had, Mario. This is the same conversation we had last year about Amon-Ra. And I was getting laughed out of. But
I also had this conversation about DJ Moore to you guys last year. But for whatever reason, we thought Baker was going to be enough to hold that. I had the exact same conversation about DJ Moore. I have a tweet.
We'll see, dude.
Amon-Ra was different. Amon-Ra was being an idiot, dude. I was being a hater. Amon-Ra. Wait, I have a better. We got to start.
A bunch of us were that with Amon-Ra.
Video bets. Amon-Ra was being stupid, dude. You painted it for me. You said, "Look at these targets." You did the extrapolation. You said this will be great, and then I was like, "Nope, no, it won't." I was like, "DJ Hawkinson will be back," and they were like, "No, he won't."
Yeah, no, he's literally never coming back.
6 weeks. Yeah, he's out of here. We're gonna start winning now. Last question about Chicago. Robbie probably hates me. It wasn't that directly coming. It's just what this is. This episode, dude.
I feel like we have come at Robbie. We've
keep it coming, baby.
This feels good though, Cody. I appreciate you being on here because you know how much I get attacked in the Rob Mario chat. Way too much. So this feels good.
Yeah.
It seems almost like we planned this, but we didn't, Rob, and it feels great.
Yeah, I think you guys did, but it's okay. I'm holding up.
So in hour number 2, no, I'm just kidding.
For anybody watching,
cut to me just crying in the corner.
If you're wondering if that's the angriest I've ever seen Rob, it probably is. That below. Because the dude just is like this constantly, just level-headed, just steady as it comes. So he honestly is really mad right now for Rob standards. But on a normal basis,
spit my facts out and go back, sit back.
Yeah, you sit back.
This one I'm dying on a hill. DJ's my die on a hill this year.
You're going to die on it.
That was good. All right, so on RB ADP here, we don't even have the time to necessarily get into this, so it's just gonna be a quick hitter. Who would you take of this backfield? We could talk more about these guys as the season progresses. So based off their ADP, which is below, right, Rob? Or is that the ranking?
No, those are dad bod ranks.
Oh, those are dad bod ranks.
Yeah.
Let me pull up the ADP real quick.
I clicked off of the ADPs. I should have still had it up.
I think Rashawn Johnson's probably needs to be readjusted in our dad bod as a group. Agreed. There's a few guys that looks like they kind of left him off. So he'll probably be closer to the 45, I would assume.
Foreman could be a bit higher than that too.
I think even my rank's kind of low on Roshan, but mine's more like I think he comes in later in the season and it has a good 6-game stretch, 10-game stretch, whatever it may be that won't necessarily.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm still too low. ADP for Khalil Herbert, sorry, Rob, is 122. That's what, round 11. Dante Foreman is 167 and Roshan is 170. No, 150. So it actually goes Khalil.
Roshan, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Khalil, Roshan, Foreman.
I'm going Roshan.
I'm going to go Foreman. Give me the lowest of the bunch.
I'm going to go Foreman, and I can't believe I'm saying it because I've never been in on those injuries, but
you guys know
he was so good last year. He was so good last year. He really was.
He's just good, dude. He's just good.
And they've shown they hate Khalil Herbert, so.
Yeah. I'm not touching Khalil Herbert this year at ADP. I don't think that's a good value.
There's just too much risk that he's not the guy.
And would you say that he's more of the pass catcher back of the three?
None of them are to me.
Roshan's best pass catcher.
Maybe so.
He could be.
Maybe.
He could be. Yeah,
he did well in college.
Just to me,
all his efficiency metrics were great in college because he had Bijan in front of him.
Yeah.
No, the defense is retired. And he was like,
me,
yeah, just come get 6 yards. Go ahead, Robbie.
Yeah, out of the backfield, like these three are so close that any of them could be the lead guy in this backfield. Like, just give me the lowest ADP, and I'm gonna run with it. I'll see what happens. You know what I mean? Because then you could just drop him for free. Like, it's nothing at that price.
It's good. It's a fair point. I don't think 10 is too bad either, though. Like, I get what you're saying completely about Khalil, both of you. Around 10, I'm probably okay with taking Khalil. Just for the fact
he falls right in that with our guys we were picking earlier. So, Madison, Aaron Jones.
He's the least sexy of the three, right?
I don't like him as my RB3. Nope, I'm going somebody else. Yeah. That's where he'd fall. He would fall as like, hey, he's the 3. Right? Nope, not doing it there.
What did we say? Madison would be the 2, right?
2. AJ Dillon
Underdog
was
ADP.
RB 38.
Underdog ADP has Madison at 59. Is that what we said?
59 overall or RB 59?
Yes, 59 overall. So I think we might have had wrong data on that.
No,
I think we might have said 93.
No,
I feel like I remember 93.
It was later. It was like an 8th round, I thought we said, or something. But no, that's not right. Yeah,
it was right. That's what we were saying.
79 is what I have on Fantasy Pros.
Yeah, I showed 59 on Underdog, but I mean,
which would make Underdog best ball, like,
it's different,
a little different.
Yeah, but and Fantasy Pros lacking data right now.
Yeah,
so it's both. Yeah. They're both going to be. I wouldn't be surprised if it's right in the middle or something.
Yep.
Boys, any last thoughts? Anything about this? Whoa!
Is that you?
Did you? I had an accident. Yeah.
I love the close-up.
We were struggling.
Oh, I've got our RB3. But he's not going to go here by draft season. I've got RB3, Javonte Williams. He'll rise by draft season, though, I think.
That's an insight from Cody, Mudcat Cody, with his RB3. No, I like that. He's scary.
Cam,
I love Javonte.
Cam Akers, baby.
Yeah, but we got Madison and Aaron Jones. We all right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then we take in AJ Dillon, so we got that. And then we get some P. Ryan for RB5. Ooh, dude. Ooh. No?
No, it'd be all right.
That would be a nice 5 RBs.
It actually would.
You probably are lacking wide receiver depth if you did that. I'm assuming.
I don't know.
You probably that's within probably.
So we would have taken
10 picks.
We would have taken. Well, we would have taken RB 16, 24.
Why is Rob smiling?
28, 34. I mean, that's not a big RB investment. So I think you could have had 3 wide receivers in the first 5 rounds.
Yeah. All right, boys. Everyone, thank you for joining. Do we have another divisional episode next week on Monday?
We do.
I think
we have one Thursday, what it is? I know.
Oh, that's good.
I don't know what it is.
Robbie, you're supposed to have this ready, dude.
Me?
On the 12th, we'll be talking NFC.
You got the schedule.
I'm pulling up the schedule. I just need to figure out what we got coming up. Because we also want to make up an episode, but we'll see when that gets.
Yeah,
but
we're gonna do NFC East on the 12th and NFC West on the 13th.
Oh, so next week we got another player difference episode on Monday.
Yep.
And it's just me and Robbie right now. We'll see if we can recruit somebody to hop in there with us because those are fun episodes.
Bring your pitch.
For myself,
the best part was how flatline he was.
Yes, that's the level. That's the level, dude. Constantly. No, there was a little up, like that.
There's a heartbeat.
Like a heart rate. Yeah.
There was a smile.
Right before I die, the heartbeat.
Yeah. F you. All right, for myself, for Mudcat Cody, and for Angry Rob. That's all. Peace. Thank you for watching our episode. If you enjoyed this episode, please make sure you like and subscribe to our YouTube channel.
If you aren't already following us on Twitter, check us out at DadBodFS.
We'll be posting all of our best clips and videos to all of our social media: TikTok, Instagram, Twitch, Facebook, YouTube. You can find us on there at DadBod Fantasy Squad.
Lastly, if you'd rather just listen, we make sure we post our audio of each episode on all the major streaming platforms. Stick with us all season long so together we can count our trophies and not our calories.